All right, this one's about looping thoughts. I had them second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. It was, worst as soon as I woke up to around 7 p.m. Then it started to slow down a bit because the cortisol would start to slow down. It was the hardest thing for me during my recovery. It was worse than all my 65 symptoms. It was worse than the horrible, diarrhea, bloody diarrhea flares that I got. I remember I used to tell myself, I'd rather get some more symptoms than to deal with my mind going crazy. And it was very severe. I thought I was going crazy. It wouldn't stop. It wouldn't give me a break. I would get a little bit of a break near the evening when things would slow down a bit because the cortisol would kind of, slow down. But it was horrible. I never knew this could exist, this type of suffering. But it did. And it was constant. And I was, somebody could say something. I'd be managing my thoughts by trying to keep busy all the time, distracting. And at the time, I didn't know that was making it worse. I was managing my thoughts, and somebody could walk by and say, "Oh, my knee, I have to have surgery on my knee," or "Oh, my friend has colon cancer." Like, even those words, my brain would go, "Whoa, okay, we're gonna try that on. You have cancer now," and I'd be like, "What the fuck?" And I would leap on it for 2 weeks straight. I would be in a room, pacing back and forth, trying to get this thought out of my head. And it's not like somebody else, like a normal, recalibrated person. When you have, the thought of cancer, you just kind of like, "Oh, what's a big deal? Who cares? Just let it go," right? No, when you're a person that's sensitive and your alarms are on and they're very extreme, it makes you feel like you have that right then and there. You need to go to the hospital to get it checked out. You need to investigate. You're in a fight or flight. You feel like you're about to die right then and there. Like, "Oh shit, my life is over. My life is over. I have cancer. Oh, this all makes sense." Like your brain sends you intense doubt. It convinces you that the sky is pink in a way, right? It's able to convince you something that is not there. It's smokes and mirrors. It's very powerful. And the reason why it does that, this helps also, is because it wants you to investigate. So it'll throw alarms, smokes and mirrors, and it'll create a reality that isn't real because it would rather you suffer and investigate this fake reality just to make sure that you're alive, just to make sure that you're not really in danger. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, it's horrifying. It's a nightmare. It's OCD, extreme OCD. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's a compulsion, obsessive compulsive. And the reason why it sends excessive compulsive is because your brain wants you to scan for danger. So it sends this mechanism. It's very powerful. It's like, okay, we need him to scan. We're very sensitive right now. Our fight or flight state is way up here, and I'm perceiving danger everywhere because this is the program that we're running. So I got to do my job and keep this guy alive. So send him OCD, get him scanning for danger, make him freak out that he's got cancer or something. Oh, whoa, he's got that now. He's got this. He's got everything. Everything's a trigger. Everything's a trigger. So it's doing its job. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have a mental illness. It's just that program that's running is very uncomfortable and you don't like this program. So you can change that program, but you don't know how to. You're actually keeping that program on because of the methods that you've been taught online that are wrong. Or your therapist told you you have to do this or that. It just actually makes the OCD worse. So, well, what do you do, right? When you're looping through this period, and I gotta tell you, when you do recovery, when you're going through recovery and you're doing these methods and you start to do exposure, right? Because this is how you heal. This is how you recover. This is the way. People don't want to understand that and believe that. It's going to get worse. You're going to take 2 steps forward right? And you're going to take 5 steps back. And people are like, well, why the fuck do I want to go backwards? I don't want to get worse. I want to recover. Yes, I know. But it doesn't go linear. Recovery doesn't work like that, especially if you do it right. You have to stress yourself out. You have to trigger a stress response on purposely so that the brain can see that the perceived danger that it's sending is actually not real and it's wrong. And then you have to change your response to show it the proper program. That's how it changes it to a new program, by how you respond, right? It's like, oh, this is wrong, but this is what I want you to hold on to now. So this is the right one. That's the wrong one. This is the right one. And while you're holding the wrong one, this wrong one that you're holding and showing the brain, right? You're going, no, this is not what we want, right? It's going to feel scary. You're going to feel like shit. You're going to want to try to fix it. You're going to try to ruminate. You're going to try to run away. You're going to try to resist from it, right? That's normal because it's the old program. And you're sitting in that program. Your neural pathways are running that old program. So you're going to feel like shit. You're going to feel like you're in a war zone. That's expected. And that's what we want. We want you to trigger that old program. But then when you're sitting in that fear, because that's what we want you to do, sit in that fear. Don't resist it. Don't run away from it. When you're sitting in that fear and doing nothing or embracing it and asking for more, okay, this is horrible. This sucks. Give me more. I love this. I love this. I love this. See, you're showing the brain a new program by going, I love this. The old program is like, I hate this. I hate this. I don't want to think about this. The new program is, I love this. I love this. I love this. Give me more. Repetition. And the brain sees that because it sent you an alarm and it's seeing that you like it. It's going, okay, all right, well, maybe this isn't dangerous. Maybe I perceived that wrong. Okay, you know what? It goes from a 10 to a 5 to a 3 with repetition. You're exposing yourself to the trigger and you're feeling it. It's going through here. You're going, come on, Limby, bring me the fear, bring it to me, bring me that trigger. Oh, and it will. It will bring it to you. That's what you want. Get ready to get on the fucking roller coaster. Okay, here it comes. Here comes the roller coaster. You're on it. You're what you may call it. You're one of those. You're going through the waves, right? You're not splashing against them. You're a cork in water, right? Because you go with the wave. You're not going against the waves, right? You're not resisting them. So this is what happens. Right? And especially when people have distracted from their thoughts and their alarms for so long, because alarms are meant to be acknowledged, they're meant to be heard. And when they finally get a chance to be allowed and heard, they're all going to rush towards you, and you're going to get the bottleneck effect. It's going to go, me next, me next. All of a sudden you see a 1,000,000-mile line of thoughts that want to be processed and acknowledged, right? And plus, if you're not working on bringing down your baseline, you're going to have more thoughts. It's going to spike. So you got to do your visuals. You got to elevate every day while you're having these alarms ringing wild. You got to bring them with you. You got to allow them. But you're also cutting the lawn. You're dancing while you're freaking out, right? Yeah, it sucks. It's the worst thing in the world. It's the hardest thing I ever had to do for 2 fucking years nonstop. That's how hard it is. And that's what it takes to recover. And then when you bring your baseline down, when you're doing the elevating and doing your 1 hour visuals every day, you never miss a day ever, right? Then it starts to bring the baseline down. And guess what else brings the baseline down? When you stop resisting your thoughts. Because when you resist your thoughts and you ignore the alarms, when you go like this, the alarms ring louder. And when you resist the thoughts and the alarms, it says, well, obviously, the perceived danger that I see and I sent this alarm must be correct, so I'm going to keep sending an alarm. So the more you resist, the more you sit in a higher state of fight or flight, because you're fighting with yourself. You're fighting constantly. So you stay in a survival state. But we want to bring the baseline down in time. So you have to take away the resistance. You have to stop fighting with yourself. And when you stop battling and fighting and trying to win a battle against your own brain, that doesn't make sense. The brain that's trying to protect you and doing its job, because we misunderstood, a lot of people misunderstand what is actually happening. But now that you understand that it's trying to help you, and you stop battling it, when there's no battle, there's no resistance, right? The resistance, right? It's able to calm down, finally. Plus you're elevating, you're going out and dancing, you're going for walks, right? You're out and you're doing your daily visuals for 1 hour a day. That brings the baseline down. And when you bring the baseline down, the alarms are less looping thoughts, because you're hardwiring safety more and more, right? It locks it in here, and it locks it in here. Okay, it's going down more. Locks it in here, right? You're hardwiring new neural pathways. Locks it in here, creating new neural pathways. Locks it in there. Oh wow, you're going from a 10, which is alarm, fight or flight, to 5, which is okay. I'm getting a little worried here. It's scary. Holy fuck. To 2. Okay, I think we got this. To 1. I think we'll be okay. To 0. 2. Everything's good. Right? And the thing is, what people don't understand or forget is when you do exposure to something that you're uncomfortable with, like your thoughts, symptoms, you're opening it up to come to you. So yes, you're going to feel triggered. Yes, you're going to feel scared. You're going towards it. You want that to happen so you can reprogram it. The only way to reprogram something is to go through it, to face your fear. Because if you avoid it, you will never, ever, ever, guaranteed, and never recover. If you think recovery is avoiding discomfort, you will be chronically ill and never recover, ever. That's just how it goes. If you expose yourself with sending the proper messages of not surviving, of white knuckling, that also changes the message. So you have to surrender, embrace, allow, and repeat that over and over and over again. Go towards it. Expose times 1,000. And when you do that, the alarms get turned off one by one. Exposure is very important. It's the key. You have to expose yourself when you send the right response while you're doing exposure. And remember, you will feel like shit. The more you feel like shit, the more you're doing the work, the more that the brain will be able to change that program, the more you'll be able to turn off more alarms. So you turn 2 alarms at the same time. That's 10 alarms at the same time. And then your baseline starts to calm down, right? And then you have less alarms, and it shoots less alarms. It's perceiving danger less. It's like, no, I feel safe. I don't think there's any danger. It starts to trust you. And then in time, took me 2 years, the mental looping chatter is more in the background. It's not in the spotlight. So you can handle it. You regain leverage. You're like, all right, I can do this. Yeah, it's in the background. I don't really care. I'm engaging in life. Because engaging in life is the last step. That's very important. The dare response. They talk about this. You allow, right? You allow the feelings. You know that you're running towards them. You're exposing yourself to them. But then you're engaging in life again, right? We're not gonna fixate on allowing it too much or trying to figure out or fix. No, we're gonna engage. Get back to cutting the lawn. Get back to dancing, right? And then you repeat the process over and over again. And then your baseline starts to drop, you hardwire it in, and then that mental chatter starts to become distant. And you're living life fully. And eventually that mental chatter, that negative mental chatter, that looping, scary, intrusive thoughts, poof, they're gone. You're cured. No more. My OCD is gone. I don't have anxiety anymore. I don't have panic attacks. And if I did have one, it would be a joke. I would laugh my ass off. And now I'm actually getting the opposite. I'm getting intrusive happy thoughts. A sense of good feelings, like a sense of peace, a sense of safety. A sense of safety. You just feel good, you feel calm. No sense of alarm, no sense of doom. And then you start to think, you don't even remember what it was like to feel like that. You're like, once upon a time I used to have crazy anxiety and freak out. What was that like? I can't imagine that. Holy shit. What were all the symptoms that I had? I don't even think that really happened, you know? Maybe I imagined that. Maybe I had a bad dream and it was just bullshit. Maybe I wasn't really that sick. Maybe I was fine. Maybe, you know? Because your brain has let it go. It's forgotten. It's moved on. It's worked through the trauma. We're not digging for trauma. You will never need to dig for trauma because trauma happened once upon a time, but you're in fight or flight right now, the present moment right now. And you're recalibrating the brain with a new program saying that right now we're not in danger. And when you do that, you don't need to dig for trauma. And honestly, trauma will come to you and you will work through it as it comes to you. The brain will bring it on a silver platter and go, you want to work on this? We should. All right, let's do it. Right? And then you do it. That's when you do your exposure. And you feel like shit. And you take a bite, another bite of the big shit sandwich, another bite. Eventually it's gone. So that's how it works. So know that the more you feel like shit, the more you're doing the work. And when people say, you know, I had three good days and then down back at it. You know, I was doing really good last week. When you say that, you're putting in contrast to what? You're feeling like shit. You're in danger. Just know the hard days are the days that work's getting done. When you have 2 good days in that week, no, you just had a vacation and the brain took some time off and now you're back to work. These are opportunities. The shitty days, the triggers, they're all opportunities to recover. You're rewiring all the layers of the onion. You're unplugging, things come up, you work through them, and you put them in the right spot that you want. Unplug that, clean it up, expose it, allow it, plug it into the new spot that you want. And that's how it works. And people get stuck when they don't do the work. They don't do the visuals every day for an hour. They do one here and there. And then they say, yeah, I did the program. It doesn't work. It didn't work for me. I must be because it must be because it's autoimmune. I think it's the biome. I don't think it has anything to do with the limbic system. I think it must be something that I'm special. My situation's different because everybody's different, right? So it must be something else. Maybe my biome, or I need some more, or maybe it's my mitochondria, right? See, people, when they don't stick to the path and they fall off, they try other modalities. It's pointless. It won't do anything for you. It's not actually doing anything for you because you're not doing it. So you have to give the program 2 years for you to be able to recover. If you do it wishy-washy, right? If you got to be honest with yourself, people are not honest because they don't believe, they doubt, right? That's where the limbic system comes in. They go, oh, well, I did it and it didn't work. I did it. How many times did you do it? I did it a bunch of times. I did it for 6 months. But how did you really do it for 6 months? No. Well, how much did you really do it for? I did it for a week. Well, 6 months is a joke. A week is a joke. Well, technically, I took it out of the box, but I didn't put it in a DVD player. Okay. Or I didn't stream it. I watched 2 videos and it was too triggering. And so you didn't really do any of it. And you're already saying that it doesn't work. Or because you didn't do it. So you already made up your mind and you're jumping from one modality to another modality. And you did maybe 2 visuals in the past 2 years. No wonder why nothing's working. No wonder why you have your doubts, because you're not doing it properly. Well, I took the DARE app. I took it and I did it. And it just made things worse. And I can't win this battle. Well, number one, if you took the DARE app, you would know that you're not supposed to be winning any battles. Actually, that goes against what the DARE app says. So that can be frustrating when people are already complaining, but they're not doing it right, or they're not doing it at all. and they're jumping around to different modalities. So that will also get you triggering. That will also get you stuck and not doing anything. It's not working because it's not working. You're not working it. Right? And you can only do so much to help people that are in that situation. They're not aware of that. So you can remind them here and there, but then you got to move on, because there's some people that get it. They stick to it. They understand. Putting all my research on the shelf, because people that have been chronically ill have a history of doing lots of research. We're amazing at researching, very good at going down rabbit holes and believing, and going on these Facebook groups. We're the best at that. But the thing is, that comes to haunt you later when you're supposed to pick a program and stick to it, especially a program that actually works. And when you're given the answer, here's the answer, right? God could come down and go, here's a book. I've given you the answer. You've asked, oh God, please give me the answer. Well, here it is. Yeah, it's a little different because I think it's a biome thing. I think I have an autoimmune issue. I think it's more complicated than that. So here's the answer. No, I don't want it. Slaps it out of your hand. So people don't give things a chance. They get scatterbrained and they try everything at once. And that's what happens. They don't recover. They get stuck like that for many, many years. And then they start giving themselves a label, and then they say, well, I'm chronically ill. I've given up. I've tried everything. Which I believe I've tried everything. Here's something else that I've noticed. People want a complicated answer. They want somebody in a white lab coat to go on a board and give you all these crazy formulas that has the word mitochondria in it, biome, with these math formulas, and say, you will recover, but you got to take these special supplements that were created in a special lab in Spain, underground, and you have to take it at a certain time every day, and then you have to do these breathing techniques, and then you have to dig for trauma, and you have to practice this crazy equation and take this pill, and it's very complicated. And I'm in a lab coat. I have a stethoscope. I can't even say that word. Stesis. I have this thing that listens to people's hearts. I wear glasses. I'm in a lab. So I must be doing it right. It's complicated, right? You don't understand what's going on. That is the answer. That's what I have to do. Well, what about the easy way? Well, it's not easy. It's very hard. But it's a straight way. Here's a path. It's just follow the path. Here's a key. Here's the answer. But it's not complicated. So I'm not doing that. It has to be hard and complicated. It's hard. That's what makes it hard, because it's straightforward. Yeah, but come on, you're telling me to start dancing? Come on. That's not going to heal my fibromyalgia. My biome by dancing. Oh, come on. Visuals? Come on. That's a crock of shit. Okay? Visuals aren't going to cure my gastritis and my Crohn's. It's more complex than that. It's an autoimmune disease. Okay? Okay, so I kind of get it that you're saying bring down your baseline. Okay, you're onto something, because the word baseline sounds kind of complicated. So the more complicated, the more I'm going to bite on that. But the easier you're making it, it's a joke. Like, are you serious? Like, this is a crock of shit. And those are the people that will not recover. Because they need a guy in a lab coat to tell them that they have SIBO, and they have an overgrowth of bacteria and some sort of candida and a biome problem, and that they need to take certain supplements or do something that's really hard and complicated for them to recover. They'll chase that for 20 years. And they'll lie and say, yeah, I feel a lot better, actually. Yeah, because I healed my gut. Because the thing is, you have these bugs, right? And you have to drink celery. And it's SIBO. And you got to heal your gut. I know rewiring is a little bit part of it. I know it's like a little bit of stress here and there. Because stress, yeah, it's true. Stress, anxiety, right. But the mitochondria needs to be totally wiped out and changed, because your DNA, well, right? So that's what I mean by rabbit holes. And you know what I've discovered with recovery? Because I used to be one of these people. When you're on the other side and you're recovered, it's all bullshit. Bullshit, throw it out. But I'm nice about it. I say, put it on the shelf. You can always come back to it in 2 years. If you're not recovered after you followed the program fully, didn't miss anything, you didn't miss your visuals, you stuck to it, you were disciplined, right? After the 2 years, when you're recovered, if you want to go back to the bullshit mentalities and those rabbit holes, please go ahead. I'm going to. Only because I want to revisit some of these Facebook groups and drop some bombs. Because some of these Facebook groups, some of the moderators, they don't like to hear that you're able to recover from all these different chronic illnesses. They'll ban you. They'll give you shit. Because they're miserable. They've been suffering for 20 years. And they want to take the air right out of your sails. So anybody that comes on that group, they'll say, by the way, get used to the thought that you're stuck like this. There's no recovery. So you might as well go on disability now. But we'll show you coping mechanisms, what supplements to buy, so that, you can at least live somewhat of a life. Because you're not alone. We're here to support you. We're here to bring you down together. Horseshit. I was in those groups. They shattered my beliefs and dreams because they went through it. They didn't think it was fair that somebody recovers. That's not fair. I had to go through this for 20 years. What, you just started to have these symptoms? You think you're going to recover like that? I don't think so. That's not going to happen. So they make sure to make you believe you can't recover. I was lucky that I found the answers. Well, I had chronic illnesses for 15 years. But it didn't turn into a shit show for 3 years ago. That's when it was a shit show. That's when I had all these illnesses pop up all at the same time, food sensitivities. You fucking name it, I went through it. And I found the answers within a month of me going through this, while other people have never found the answer. That's not very fair, is it? But I got the fucking answers. And I had chronic fatigue, one of the 65 symptoms. Let's bring one out. I had chronic fatigue syndrome for 3 months. And then I did the methods, recovered. But when you tell somebody that's been through it for 20 years and you tell them, oh yeah, it took me three months, they go, well, that's bullshit. Well, then obviously you didn't have chronic fatigue. You didn't really have it then. Because you only had it for 3 months and you recovered so quickly. That's not possible. Well, it is possible because I changed the way I was thinking. I did the right methods. I changed the program. But you're still running the old program because you're still using those avoidance behaviors. That's when you tell somebody the information, it becomes to the point where you choose what you become. When sickness becomes a choice, right? And you can only help people so much that eventually you gotta let them go and work on the other people that are willing to work on themselves and use one program and stick to it. Those are the people that will recover. And the more we can do that, the more proof and evidence will come out, and then those other ones that are stuck in their belief system will see, okay, well maybe I can do it. And then they will also jump on board. It's sad seeing people like that. It's also annoying because they want to shit on everybody's parade, right? That's not fun. We want to recover. So it doesn't matter if you've been ill with a symptom for 20 years, 10 years, or that symptom only hung around for 3 months, and you did something, a method that got rid of it in 3 days. And then you tell that person, here's the answer. How long did it take you? I did it for 3 days and I recovered. Okay, well they dismiss it. right away, dismissed. And then that's when they go back onto their shelf and bring out all the research and all the bullshit, and it comes back to haunt them. And it changes their reality, and they hold on to that. And the key to their recovery, they take it and they throw it out. I see that all the time. Everybody holds on to their bullshit mentalities, and they get sucked into this reality that is simply wrong. Because they want it complicated. They don't want an easy answer. They don't want the answer. They've almost identified with their world of sickness. They have become this person that's been identified with illness. They don't want to change that, even though they say they do, but technically they don't. And they poison the well with everybody else. Go, no, don't listen to him. No, we're gonna ban him. Take him out. No, you're ill now. Boom, ill. Everybody's ill. It's a lot to do with like putting a spell on somebody, and that's it. And when you're triggered, when you're doing a program and you actually feel worse, that can make a person go, see, this is bullshit. I knew this wasn't going to work for me. I knew I was special. I knew, right? And it makes you think, no, I got to go try this other mentality. And then people don't stick to it. So that's why I try to emphasize the fact that you will be triggered. You're going to feel like shit. And I try to bring that ahead, right? Because in the beginning, yeah, you feel like shit somewhat. But when you start the program, the more you heal, the worse the mental alarms get. And it's going to get fucking hard. And if you tell somebody that ahead of time, 10 times maybe, then they'll remember when it happens. Oh, okay, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going. I remember him saying this. Okay, this isn't anything special. I'm not special. I don't have a crazy... I'm not separated from anything that's not limbic. I'm going to recover. I just got to stick to it. 2 years, got to stick to it. Right? You don't have to like it. You can have your doubts. Sure, fuck it. We're human, right? But just stick to it and do everything to the T. Make mistakes, but I mean, don't skip out on your visuals. Don't stop doing the work every day. Keep doing your exposures and understand that you're going to feel like shit. All right, that's enough for today. Got any questions? Please put them down in the bottom. I'll make a video about it because we'll all benefit because I've been through it, and I'm sure somebody else will identify with somebody else's questions and go, oh my goodness, I'm going through that now. And then, you kind of have that sense of like a group unity. All right. Have a good day, and till tomorrow.